Let's talk about Jaden Smith's rap career.
I'm not joking. You probably think I'm joking about this, but I'm not.
Jaden Smith has a rap album. It's on Jay-Z's record label. I'm gonna listen to it. The fuck am I doing with my life? Look, for those who don't know, Jaden Smith is the son of well-known rapper and actor Will Smith, and living proof that at the very least, acting talent is certainly not genetic. To call this his first album, though, would be a little bit of a stretch, I'll be honest. He's done a few mixtapes here and there, but like the majority of people who would be listening to this album for the first time, I haven't heard them. So, but you know what? You know what? I'm just gonna go into this with an open mind. I mean, who knows? It might actually be decent.
Thy hair-inspired guide to make the breeze.
I'm sure the people who care enough about my opinion to actually watch a video like this would probably be curious about what kind of music that I have a tendency to listen to. Other than my well-documented appreciation for EDM, another genre that I tend to gravitate towards from time to time is more progressive rock. Stuff like your Dream Theater, your Coheed and Cambria, your Muse. You know, stuff that tends to operate on a concept album. What I'm trying to say here, the point to me bringing this up, is that I know a good multi-song suite when I hear one. And this one is... There's definitely an appropriate tonal shift at each of the tracks, although B kind of feels like an incomplete track in and of itself. So to me, it just seems like the reason that there's 4 tracks is to have that naming convention, which, okay, fine, I guess. But at that point, you could very well go with 3 tracks and have it be a more stylized BLU. That being said, the reason to go between different tracks is, well, honestly, moot. See, normally the reason that you would have a multi-track suite like this is because each track represents a progression of some sort in what's going on in the overall piece. But here, it just seems like he's just going back and forth between anger and emotional vulnerability.
I'm just a baby with a stack of needles and a sippy cup.
Okay, maybe a little bit too much emotional vulnerability in a couple of places. While I'm actually on that line, let me kind of sort of talk about where Jaden sings. Because that kind of equates to a point to the entire suite too, in that it's very messy, very back and forth. You know, it's very jumbled up. I can't really tell what I'm supposed to be feeling at any given point because it just moves too quickly between emotions. Maybe that's the point, but honestly, to me, based on the rest of the album as well, it kind of sounds like I'm supposed to think this is just really cool. And if that's the case, why are you pretending that this is more grandiose than it actually is? My favorite part of the suite is E. It does a pretty good job of summing up what I think is supposed to be the actual point. And, you know, Jaden's flow on this is, it's kind of about being heartbroken, and Jaden's flow on this particular track is pretty spot on.
Lately I'm running from demons, been having trouble since I was a fetus.
Okay, we still have our Jaden Smith trademark moments of Jesus Christ, what the fuck, but, you know, it kind of works. Something worth noting. The really sleepy delivery on this, normally that would be a complaint, but it really does work for a more depressing subject matter like this. But we're going to see plenty of points on this album where Jaden uses a very similar delivery and it just doesn't work the same. And, you know, I'll try to call that out where I can. But that being said, at the end of E, we get our first indications of the story.
Basically, in this portion, we hear multiple people talking over each other about a guy named Syre.
But I'm going to say this right now. During most of the songs, the story element feels incredibly tacked on. Okay, when it's like when it actually centrally matters to the point of a song, I'll bring it up. Okay? But when it's like a few seconds at the end here, for the most part, I'm not going to even bother talking about what they're doing in the story that barely is even there. Trust me, like the second half of the album, they completely drop it anyway. Basically, Blue is about a breakup with a girl, and the main sort of analogy that gets used in this is that the girl and the guy are like Adam and Eve, and this ending bit, a line that gets repeated and repeated throughout the record too, is she killed him. So that's clearly something that's going to actually be important to the story. That particular piece of relevance is that either physically or metaphorically, in some fashion, the girl killed the guy named Syre that they bring up. Okay, cool. Let's talk about Breakfast.
Slum village with the feeling, get it, beat it, betcha I'ma kill it. You ain't ready for the realest, high sucker rapper to the ceiling.
Not only am I not sure how I feel about a feature artist on what is ostensibly a concept album, I also kind of question the feature artist credit.
Rocky's voice is so distorted during the interlude where he appears that you can't even tell it's him.
And Jaden could have gotten literally anyone, including himself, to do this part for all that it adds to the song, because it really doesn't add anything to any part of what's going on this album. The first verse is actually pretty good, although admittedly, you are listening to Jaden Smith for lines like,
"The Illuminati's real, that's the deal, write a book so I can prove it."
So that you can laugh at him, but fuck man, he's got a pretty decent flow here. I'm not gonna knock him for that. Then we get past the first little interlude, there's a major beat change, and this happens.
Got on a beat like a centerpiece, blow up, make a couple enemies.
Yeah, his flow just evolves into, well, a hot mess, basically. I feel like he stopped trying at this point. It makes the back half of the song just completely unlistenable. Alright, apparently, the guy the story's about, Syre, he committed a triple homicide. It might be mentioned later on, although it's not 100% clear. Moving the fuck on!
Baby girl, I just hope when I grow up I can know the ropes.
Jaden's delivery during the entire first half of the song is annoying as fuck. Mostly because the parts where his tone is the best are the parts where he's at his mumbliest. And I do mean his mumbliest, possibly on the entire album. It's not helped that he just mumbles the entire interlude. Second half of the song sounds really good though, although I can't help but wonder, why is it they feel the need throughout this album to just completely change songs in the middle every time?
Fuck, this one does it twice, changing again to an almost fully instrumental number with steel drums as the primary instrument.
This album could benefit from, like, I don't know, maybe a few minutes of consistency?
You got the cash, well I'm about to come and embezzle, man.
Full stop. That's like the worst opening that I've heard, like, ever. And the worst part is, it comes so close to actually being a good opening, all you had to do was say, embezzle it. But you fucked it!
Where are you now? Where are you now? I'm whipping it.
Oh, I see. It's one of those songs where everything's made up and the lyrics don't matter. Okay, hope you don't mind if I pull out my riffing gloves then! I don't have riffing gloves. I have a plastic bag. Fuck. Note to self, buy riffing gloves.
Whipping it. Butterfly, butterfly, where are you now?
Fuck it. I just can't.
There is one thing about this song that's relevant to the rest of the album.
Which means I get to recommend this for reasons other than just laughing your ass off. See, the repeated line during the chorus,
There's cops on the road.
And apparently the song, as clarified by the outro and not clarified anywhere during the song, is connected to the whole Syre triple homicide. You know, that it's a high-speed chase after the triple homicide. Okay, that, like, it's not explicitly stated that that's what's going on, but, you know, that's easy enough to piece together on your own. This is a high-speed chase, and we had the triple homicide line earlier. Yeah, you can piece that together on your own. One question, though, what the fuck was with the butterfly?
Love.
Jaden seems to really know how to write rap songs about being in love. And yeah, he kind of shifts into bragging every now and again, but you know what? He ties it into what the song's actually about better than some others that I've heard do this. I guess you might call this a bit of a low standard. And the two halves of one song work better here. Number one, because the song is long enough to accommodate that. And number two, because both halves are actually really good and seem to represent an actual shift in, you know, the character's thinking. Helped, by the way that Jaden transitions into the second half of the song.
Well, I guess I just missed the chance. Missed one text, she gets pissed. Fuck this, not recording anymore.
It's like he realizes he's talking about something that he lost, and he doesn't really want to go there, so instead he shifts into this more optimistic viewpoint of what he had. So, you know, yeah. And he talks about Syre at the end too, but that also reflects this shift in tone. That reflects shifting into a more optimistic viewpoint. It's not perfect. You know, it's not for everyone, but I feel like maybe this is the best song in the album. Actually, correction. There's one song that's better. This song's a damn near emotive masterpiece. There's points where Jaden's a little bit mumbly, but I feel like that kind of adds to the particular set of emotions that this song is trying to portray. You know, Jaden's trying to portray someone who is lost, and he even makes the connection with Syre actually matter to the song again. When he brings up the connection to Syre, he says, hey, this is what happened to Syre because he was lost. Don't be like Syre. Yeah, it works. One problem, though. It's a 9-minute song, which wouldn't be a problem for me, if not for the fact the last 2 minutes or so is random shout-outs.
This that bonus track, this the bonus. You know, my favorite albums used to have the bonus track, you know what I'm saying?
No, it's not. You don't get to call it a bonus track midway through the album! What are you doing?
Yeah. Batman. Joker just put me on acid.
Next.
I am just an icon living. Icon living. I am just an icon living. I am just an icon.
So this was kind of technically the first single from this album. You know, it's listenable. I mean, it's definitely very skippable. It has nothing to do with the concept of the album whatsoever. Not really. And... but yeah, I enjoyed listening to it. It's kind of a hype-up song, goes from hook to hook. If you're not into that sort of thing, this isn't going to change your mind. If you are into that sort of thing, you still might not like this. It's a very subjective type of thing. But you know what? This is one that I enjoyed it for like a couple of weeks.
Watch me do this. Watch me do this.
This has some similarities to Black Skinhead by Kanye West. And one thing I do like about this one is how Jaden seems to slide between different levels of energy based on what he's saying. For example,
You such a hype beast, man, you making me vomit, look.
hey, you ate rice gum too, alright. There's really not much to say about these last 3 tracks. Although one thing I will note, other than the final track, all the references to Syre have pretty much completely disappeared at this point. Which raises the question, if you were only going to have 9 tracks that were going to be about Syre, which is pretty much half the album, a little bit more than half the album, why not space them out so that we get a little bit of a sort of mental rest between, you know what I mean? So that we have time to sort of absorb what's going on.
Take me to the truth.
For example, another decent love song. This could have very well come right before 90. It seems good. You know, if we're going to flash back to Syre's past relationship with a song like this, especially since the outro has another fucking Syre reference, god fucking damn it!
Do you remember?
So okay, I kind of get with at the ending of Lost Boy, he says this is a bonus track. It's like, oh, okay, this last part of the album are things that don't really fit with the Syre thing, but they're still tracks that you made during this time, so you wanted to put them out there. Except this kind of blows that out of the water, because this directly relates to Syre. So what the fuck are you doing? Exactly. If you were gonna have Lost Boy go like, this is a bonus track, why not put it at the end? Or right before the track called Syre or some shit like that. You know. I'm just saying, it doesn't make any sense.
The passion. The passion.
You know, insufferable chorus aside, and that really does kill the song, this is otherwise a pretty decent brag rap. I mean, yeah, he's fairly creative, and the energy provided certainly matches the aggressions that the lyrics imply. This is another song where he brings up Syre too, although this is the first one where he actually tells us what the fuck is going on. But I'll get to that a little bit later.
Sometimes I feel like a Polaroid picture trapped inside space and time. Take a sip of my elixir, ayy.
I mean, this is another okay brag rap, but at least with this one, the chorus doesn't outright kill the vibe. It's kind of weird, though.
Yo, my name is George Jefferson, the man Maleficent.
You don't look like Master TP10.
The rest of the chorus is about running for president. One line I'm gonna play later, blah blah blah.
And then, of course, there's another really weird line near the end of the song.
Baby, call me Willy Wonka on my Oompa Loompa steez. Sometimes I feel like a travel. Sometimes I feel like a rebel. I'm in the 6 with my rappers.
Another brag rap, pretty short, pretty forgettable, kind of sleepy delivery. Doesn't really do it for me like the others did. Anyway, here's the last track.
This is a spoken word piece that attempts to explain what the album is actually about, and I'm going to translate it into human for you. Syre is Jaden's alter ego, and this album is about the death of that alter ego. The name is probably a reference to the fact that he is the son of Will Smith, the Fresh Prince. See? Syre, Fresh Prince. You know, royalty terminology. Shit. Stuff like that. There's 2 particular lines that point to the new, more mature Jaden Smith. Of course, a little bit of subjectivity in whether he's actually more mature or not, but there's a couple of lines that indicate that the more mature Jaden Smith is the goal of this. Is sort of the reincarnation, as it were, of Jaden Smith. And these are two lines that I said I was going to bring up, and they were lines that were repeated in previous songs. First, line from The Passion.
Reincarnation's the motto. Reincarnation's the motto.
And the second one is from George Jeff.
Like kill myself to resurrect. I'll kill myself to resurrect. Girl, I kill myself to resurrect. Kill myself to resurrect. Kill myself to resurrect.
I'd argue that the latter line is more important because of how much more of a focus it's given in its respective song. And there's always the possibility that my interpretation here isn't really what Jaden intended, but I've always held to the fact that interpretation is kind of part of the experience when listening to art, when, you know, consuming art, whether it's fine art, whether you consider that art good or bad. So in conclusion, does Jaden Smith have talent? Yeah. Probably not as much as he thinks he has. But yeah, there's some talent there. He definitely knows how to make some things work. There's other things that really, really don't, though. I'd say the things that he was able to make work, most specifically the songs 90 and Lost Boy, those are worth checking out. Hell, even some of the stuff that didn't work very well, I mean, that's probably worth checking out to either know what not to do or to just laugh at. So yeah, for one reason or another, I'd say that you probably want to check out this album. And with that, I am finally done reviewing the works of Jaden Smith. No.
The fuck?